And 220 horsepower, W670 built by Continental. It was such a good power to weight ratio that they used them in aircraft. They used them in tanks. The Stewart tank.
Traffic, outside 440.
Sorry about that. Turn that off. We don't need that. Stewart tank had this. There was a version built for a destroyer. Imagine getting a torpedo firing one of these things and pump out the water. 220 horsepower water pump. That'll do the trick there.
We're uncontrolled here, right?
We are.
Okay.
Not only are we uncontrolled, no one can use this airport but us.
Oh, wow.
And the owner's here today, but he's not flying. He doesn't fly much anymore. All right, so let's go ahead and knock out our pre-takeoff checklist. You're an attorney, so maybe one day you'll have one of these things of your very own, which I think would be really cool.
Hopefully.
We don't want to use a written checklist, because if you bring a written checklist with you, it's going to blow away.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, it works really well for non-complex airplanes like Aranca Champs, Piper Cubs, Boeing Stearmans, is we're going to use the word CIGAR, C-I-G-A-R, as an acronym to do our pre-takeoff checklist. So C is for controls. So Carlos, go ahead and move that stick around. Make sure everything works okay. I know you're strapped in there now. You're young. Maybe you could turn around. If you can't, there's a little mirror right above your head. Everything feel okay? Looks like it's working.
Flight control free and correct.
Yeah, good. I is instruments. We're down here in Florida. Just set your altimeter at 0. It's just easier. I think we're like 140 feet above sea level here, but just set it at 0.
Gotcha.
Airspeed is at 0. Turn and bank indicator favoring the left side a little bit. Once we start moving forward, that'll come back into the middle.
I got my airspeed at about 10 knots.
Is that right? It'll
Yeah.
once we get out there.
Gotcha.
Your vertical speed indicator is an instrument that generally I don't even use, but when we're doing those steep turns, you'll maybe want to use that because it tells you what you did about 4 seconds ago or something.
Gotcha.
Your tachometer, now again, this radial engines, they turn slower than what you're used to, like the 520 and the Cirrus, because our propeller is so much longer. If this thing's turning 2,600 RPM, the propeller tips are going through the speed of sound, and the tips will come off. So this is a lot slower turning. So full power is going to give us about 1,950 RPM. Red line on this is 2,075 RPM. So we're full power for takeoff, and once we get a positive rate of climb, we're going to bring the power back to about 1,800, because at full power, it's loud, deafening loud. Oil pressure, a 2-in-1 gauge. That gauge there is in every airplane in World War II, other than the bottom right quadrant, that little triangle part that's that there's nothing there. That's actually for all the other airplanes that don't have a gravity feed fuel system. That's where the fuel pressure gauge is. So that's been blacked out. We're not obviously using fuel pressure because we are using gravity feed the tanks above your head. I mean, those are all oil pressures in the green, oil temps coming up. G's gasoline. So there's your fuel. Yeah, there's a little wire. You can see the little wire on the top of that little bobber.
Yep.
Goes into the tank. And I'm not kidding you. On the other end of that wire is a wine cork. It's not. It looks like a wine cork. I'm sure it's not, but it's it's a cylindrical cork and it's shellac, so it's floating in the fuel. Fail-safe deal. Inside on the left is your mixture control. We're going to leave it full rich throughout the whole flight. We're not going to go very high.
Gotcha.
And then right ahead of that is your fuel valve. It's either on or it's off, and you can see there that it's on. So that's all we need. The other red thing that since you're a pilot, you're going to ask me about that thing down by your left ankle.
Yeah.
That's your control lock.
Okay.
And that's what I removed when I got in the airplane a second ago, so we could use the ailerons. A is accessories. We have 2 of those to check. Elevator trim tab is underneath the throttle on the left-hand side. You can see me moving that around.
Yep.
And so we're going to leave it a little bit of nose down trim. I'm kind of big back here, farther back from the CG. And then something we're not going to use today, carburetor heat. Your carb heat is right here. So it's forward for cold,
gotcha.
You can see it.
Yep.
Back for hot, so we'll just leave it cold.
All right.
The last letter is R, and that's run up, but we'll check our engine out by the runway. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of teach you how to taxi this thing. There's a couple of things to hit on the ramp. We don't have a taxiway here, so we're going to back taxi on our main runway.
Okay.
So let me show you how this works. So we have to, you probably know, you have to do zigzags, right? Little, what we call S-turns. So go ahead and put your feet on the pedals, heels on the floorboards. So Carlos, what we want to try and do here is just go a little bit to the right. And then as it comes to the right, we'll neutralize our turn. And then we hang our head over the left side. Nothing's there. Back to your left. She'll come back to the left. We hang our head over the right-hand side. S-turns. Airplane is yours. You have it. So
my controls.
Yep, heels on the floorboards. You'll see the two signs off your left that say danger. Let's go ahead and bisect those right in the middle. Don't get too close to either side because we have our lower wings to deal with. And then there's our grass runway as outlined by those white runway markers. The flag on top of Fantasy Flight across the way says we're going to be using runway 22. So go ahead and add some power. We'll go out onto the runway. We'll make a left-hand turn. So here's what might happen with you. I know the Cirrus has a stick, but you know most people who drive.
Oh no, it's a joystick.
Yeah. But most people who drive like a Cessna, they're used to the yoke.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit of getting used to, but I think after a short period of time, you'll like the stick better than the yoke on the Cessna.
Yeah. I got a little bit of time in the Diamond, so.
Is that a stick?
Yeah, it's
okay,
a stick.
Good. So don't worry about going to the side. Go down to the end, and then I want you to do a 180, and then just line up the airplane in the middle of the runway.
Gotcha. Right about here?
Yeah, this is fine. So give it a little bit of power, get it going, and then if it rolls a little faster than this, yeah, if you tap on the top of the left pedal, that's where the brake is, it'll, the tail wheel will pop out of the steering mode. Add a little bit more power. I'll kind of demonstrate this. There you go.
Okay, gotcha.
So get it all lined up here so that you know that when you bring power in, she's going to go straight down the runway, and then bring the power to idle. All right, cool. And that's critical. I had my son in this thing once, and I wasn't saying much because I wanted him to figure stuff out. And he took his started his takeoff roll, and the airplane started going off the side, to the left side quickly, because it wasn't straight, and it scared him. He hasn't been back since. Okay, so let's go ahead and check our engine. So go ahead and slide your feet to the tops of the pedals where the brakes are, and apply a little pressure.
Brakes on.
Bring the stick all the way back to your lap like you do in the Cessna. There you go. Bring the power up to about 1,300 RPM. 1,000, there's 1,100 RPM. There's 1,200, there's 13. All right. Your magneto switch is on the far left-hand side of the panel. Carlos, you'll see it. The black says off, LR, and both. Go ahead and switch from both to R.
Going to right?
Yeah. That's fine. Back to both. Your left mag drop will be more than your right because of magnetos. They're not timed identically. So go ahead and over to the left.
Going to left.
That's fine. Back to both.
Back to both.
I'm going to carburetor heat comes on hot because that's what we're taught in flight school. That's hot. And we lost about 20, 30 RPM. So that means the carb heat system is working. Okay, you can bring the power on back.
Now we're coming back.
So the airplane's airworthy at this point. So here's what we're looking for. You can bring it all the way back. The takeoff procedure. Basically, we have no current. There's no wind. There's a little bit of wind on the flag, but nothing really.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is when you're ready, you're going to start bringing the power forward to full power. I want you to look straight ahead and focus on infinity. So basically what you're doing is you're looking straight through the instrument panel. When you do that, peripherally, out of the corners of your eyes, you're going to see these little white runway markers as they go by. We're going to leave the stick in neutral. That's where it is right now. Okay? So just keep the airplane going straight. You've heard all the horror stories about tailwheel planes. You got to dance on the rudder pedals, and that might be true when there is a crosswind, but there's no wind. The airplane's going to go straight down the runway. What's going to happen is the tailwheel is going to come off the ground first. It's going to fly first. When that happens, you'll remember in flight school they talked to you about P factor. never really see P factor much because you're in a nose wheel airplane. You're going to see it today. What's going to happen is the tail's going to come off the ground. The airplane's going to want to go to the left.
Yeah.
We're going to be ready for that. We're going to add a little right rudder, but when that tail comes off the ground, the airplane's telling you, Carlos, I'm ready to fly. So you remember soft field takeoffs?
Yeah.
This is a soft field. So what we're going to do is when the tail comes off the ground, we're going to get the airplane off the ground where it's safe, lower the nose, get your airspeed, 75. It doesn't take a lot to get it to 75. Once we get 75, we start our climb on out, and then we reduce power to 1,800 RPM. It happens slowly.
So our climb out 75?
75 to 80.
Gotcha.
And I'll talk you through it. It's not really a big deal. So, you got any questions?
Nope. Good to go.
All right.
I'm pretty lined up.
I think you're right in the middle.
Awesome.
I'm liking it. I'm going to say, yeah. So when you're ready to start bringing the power on forward, we don't have to use a tower. We're good to go.
All right.
As long as your heels are on the floorboards, you're going to do fine.
Power's coming in.
Good. Commit to the takeoff all the way forward. Just relax on your feet. Relax on your feet. As you can see, it doesn't need anything. All right, so here comes the tail. Starting to get light. Go to right rudder. P factor. There you go. It's ready to go. Carlos, bring the nose up. Good. Now lower the nose. Lower the nose. Get your airspeed. Lower the nose some more. We got 5,000 feet runway. We're good. All right, there's your airspeed. We'll start pitching for a 75 to 80 and bring the power back to 1,800 RPM. It's about halfway back on the throttle quadrant. What do you think? Not a big deal, right?
No.
Easy. So lower that nose just a little bit more. Get a little bit more airspeed over the wings because you can see your VSI is just about at 0. All right, let's make a left-hand turn. We're going to do a left-hand 270, go back over the top of the airport. Look what they're doing down below you. They're putting a housing track right there, right next to an airport.
Wow. They're going to love this.
They're going to love it. I want to go through here every day with the smoke on. Cool. Now, Carlos, as you come around, you're going to see the red and white checkerboard water tower Fantasy of Flight. You see it there?
Yeah.
Keep it coming left. I want you to head towards the cell tower that you're going to see that's red and white off your left. You see it right over here?
Yeah.
Head over that way. Cool. Again, you can see you don't need any left rudder on the left-hand turn. That ball's going to be right in the middle.
Yeah.
Go ahead and cross over the top of our runway down below, and then we'll make a right-hand turn. Bring the tower back about right there. All right, cool. Let's try a right-hand turn. And you're going to notice on a right-hand turn, you got to use a little bit of right rudder. Not much, because again, that rudder's pretty good size back there.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, let's make a left-hand turn. Polk City is right over here off your left, so we can't go over the top or too low, but there's that big building, that warehouse. Head towards that warehouse. Just continue climbing. We're going to go up to about 1,000 feet. That's all. The boat Seaville for Orlando International is off your right wing about quarter mile. So we're outside the Vale the whole time, so we don't have to use a transponder, which is a good thing because I don't even have one in here. Awesome. All right, you can see where we're going to be going here off your left. So let's make a left-hand turn. Let's head out to that grassy area. It's all open fields out there. I've never flown in Miami. That's got to be kind of harrowing, huh? There's a lot of traffic and airspace restrictions down there.
You know, it's funny. I always tell people it's the best place to learn, but it's the scariest.
Yeah, I bet. I learned out in California on the old Duster Strip.
Yeah.
So for the first, after I got my private, for the first 10 years of my career, I wouldn't go into a tower-controlled airport. I was scared.
Yeah, my first 30 hours when I was in law school in St. Louis, so pretty much the same thing.
What airport were you flying out of?
Spirit.
Spirit, okay. Ever been into Creve Coeur?
No.
You know where that's at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But now you can see how where we're going to be flying. Everything is laid out north, south, east, west section lines. Let's make a right-hand turn, and let's go to the north. You can see there's used to be a train track right here.
Yeah.
North, south. And then out here in this direction, all the tree lines and fence lines are north, south, east, west. Now, when we get up to 1,000 feet, we'll go ahead and level off there. And Carlos, I'll be honest with you, this is not a check ride, so if you go up or down, I don't care. All right, this is good here. We'll spring the power back to about 1,750 RPM, 1,750. There you go. And you can kind of see it's not that loud. That's 1,750. Awesome. Okay, let's make another left-hand turn. Let's go out here to the west. You can see there's a fence line right here. It's east and west. I'm looking for traffic. Normally when we see airplanes out here, they're a lot higher than this. Awesome. Cool. All right, so let's kind of start having some fun. We leveled off. We're about 900 feet-ish. That's fine. We're going 90, 95 miles an hour. Let's do a 360-degree turn to your left, 45-degree angle. So right now you're headed to the west. We know that by looking outside the airplane. So put that left wire parallel to the horizon and a little bit above the horizon, and that'll be a level turn in the sky. There's no one around you. Let's try one.
All right.
And the power is fine for this this turn here. 45 degrees. Awesome. Around you go. Now let's go back to when you got your private at Spirit, and you had to look at the artificial horizon to know what 45 degrees is. We don't have to look at that here because we have this little wire right in front of our face. How simple would this be? Good. This is a 180 right here. You can see these fence lines down below. .270 is there. .360 is here, good. Let's try one to your right. You're going to have to use a little right rudder on this one. You are clear, no one behind you, no one around you, good. That's 90 degrees.
Oh yeah, a lot different.
Yeah. 180, good job. .270 is there. .360 is here, cool. Kind of fun, huh?
This is great.
Yeah, if you ever want to go someplace, get into Cirrus. You know? But if you want to have fun, I mean, it's hard to beat this because you don't ever fly very high because it gets cold, you know? So, all right, so next thing we're going to do here, Carlos, is we'll do a 60-degree angle of bank turn. So, and when you get your commercial pilot's license, this is one of the maneuvers they make you do. They've actually watered it down a little bit since I got my commercial. It's 55-degree angle of bank plus or minus 5. So it's just like not much steeper than what you just did. But today we're going to do 60, so we're going to put those wires, those struts,
yeah,
right on the horizon. Go ahead and give yourself a little bit more power. Run it at 1,800 RPM. There you go. Let's try a 360 to your left, 60-degree angle of bank turn.
all right.
Whenever you're ready.
Wait, no traffic.
There's 45. A little steeper. Now you want to bring the nose up. Feel the G-force. There you go. A little steeper. There you go. That's what we're looking for right there. Look to your left. Look how steep you are. Isn't that cool? 270. And that's a 360. Good. We'll roll out of this. We'll leave the power right where it's at. Roll in. And there's your wash. Great job. Let's try one to your right. 360 right? Yep, clear right. And off your right wing, there's like a little crosshairs in these fence lines. That's 90. 180. 270. 360, cool. And then we're rolling on out. Good, and then just bring the power back to 1750. Great job. Good maintain altitude too. The margin of error for your commercial check ride on those steep turns, plus or minus 50 feet, 50 feet. So once it starts going downhill on a steep turn, it's really easy to bust that. So, are you having a good time?
I'm having a great time.
All right. This is a pure trainer, so we're going to be doing this lazy 8 thing, and it's going to teach you a little bit about airspeed management. So what I'm going to do here, Carlos, is I'm going to come on the controls with you. We're going to do one half of a lazy 8 together. I'm going to show you how to do it, and then I'll have you do a series of these on your own. You'll love these things, so just stay with me. All right, here I am. So right now we're at close to 900 feet. That's cool. We're going about 80, 85. That's fine. We're going to lower the nose. This is level flight there. So we're going to roll in about a 10-degree angle of bank. That's all the angle you want. You don't want something like that. You're not going to, if you start by using this angle of bank, we're not going to get any vertical penetration, which is what we're looking for here. So 10 degrees is right there. Then we're going to bring the nose up. So basically right now you're in a climbing turn. Freeze the stick right here. Now don't move anything. You can hear the RPM decreasing as it goes uphill.
Yeah.
Gravity right now is pulling the nose through the horizon on its own. Now listen to the airplane. Listen to it. 80, 90, 95, there's 100, 105, 110. We're going to roll the wings to the right, 120, 115 actually, and you're going the other direction. So you'll understand where I'm going with this listening to the airplane thing, because we're going to be doing some pattern work today and landings, and that becomes critical. Aircraft is yours.
My control.
Okay, let's have you try one to your left.
All right.
So airspeed's looking good at 85, so 10 degrees left. Stick back to neutral, bring the nose on up. Hold that stick right there. She's slowing down. Gravity is pulling the nose through the horizon on its own. Now listen to it. 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, there's 100, 105, good. Start recovering to the right and up. Cool. Keep in mind that the entry speed for like a loop or a roll is 125 to 130. And when you're going 130 miles an hour with this thing, you got to put it into a dive. It sounds like the wings are going to come off of it. Scary. All right, let's try one of those to the right.
All right.
The only difference here is I want you to add some right rudder.
Okay.
All right, over the top. There's no one around you. 10 degrees right, bring the nose on up. Good. Right about now, feed in that right rudder. Downhill she flies. Good. Start rolling it left and up. Awesome. Good. Kind of fun. All right, let's go up a little higher. So this road off your left wing, that's called Moore Road. That's about the limit of our practice area to the west. So we'll stay to the east of that to our right. So here's what I'd like you to do next for me is let's do one of those to the right, followed by one to the left, no stopping in between them. We want to make a fluid motion between the two. Good. Bring the nose up a little bit more. Up some more. You're in a Stearman. Good. Now start feeding in that right rudder. There you go. She's going downhill. Start rolling it to your left. 10 degrees left. There's about 2 G's on the bottom end. Up you go. Up some more. Now listen to it. There's 85, there's 80, 75, 70. Good. Much better. Downhill you fly. Start rolling it right. Bring the nose on up. And that's good enough Oshkosh right there.
Wow.
You kind of understand what I'm getting at when I say listen to it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, let's make a right-hand turn. Let's go to the east, and we'll climb back up to 1,000 feet. So, Carlos, what do you think? Does it fly like you thought it was going to fly? Is it better? Is it worse? Is it easier? Is it hard? What do you think?
It's fantastic.
It's a good trainer, isn't it? It's forgiving, slow.
It is really forgiving. I thought it'd be a little more sensitive.
Yeah, it's a trainer. Now, I've never flown a P-51 or anything, but Herman, the owner of the museum, he's got a TP-40N, you know, a two-place P-40 Warhawk, and I've flown that, and the ailerons on that, man, if you think about doing something, it does it, right? And he says, well, if you think this is sensitive, fly the Mustang. I mean, you don't even have to think. It's a beautiful flying airplane, he says. I don't know. I'll never know. All right. So the stall characteristics. Normally you would be doing stalls at 1,000 feet, but normally you're not flying a Stearman. So just what I want you to do for me, just gently bring the power back to about 1,300 RPM.
All right, power field back.
No one's around you. Open fields, love it. Great practice area. Actually, come back to 1,200 RPM.
Come back to 12.
There you go. All right. Now, don't look at the instruments. Just fly the airplane. This is a little unorthodox, but gently lower the nose. Put it into a shallow descent. A little bit more. I want you to speed it up. A little bit more. There you go. Hold it right there. Now, tell me when you hear the whistle. Can you hear that whistle? All right. So right now you're going about 90. Bring it back to level flight. Now listen to it. Can you hear it slowing down in the air?
Yep.
Bring the nose up some more. So just by listening to it, you know that she's going slower. Bring the nose up some more. Now resist the urge that when it stalls to ease the stick forward. Come on back a little bit more. All right, here's the stall right here. Watch what it does. All right, that's it. She's going to speed up going downhill. You can hear it speed up. There's 75, 80, and the nose is coming right back up to level flight on its own. Pretty docile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring the power back in. Let's climb back up a little higher. You've got Cessna 172 time.
Yeah.
You might agree with this. I hated stalling the Cessna because one wing always stalled before the other.
Yep.
And it falls out of the sky. The first time you do that, it scares the crap out of you. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to die right now. You notice what this airplane does. It shudders a little bit. The nose gently falls straight ahead. It doesn't fall up on a wing. Doesn't do anything crazy. Very docile in the stall. And if you're trying to train a bunch of 18-year-olds how to fly, that's what you want. Yeah, we'll climb back up to 1,000 and 75. It'll get there. Remember, as a trainer, your power setting is right where you want it right here. Beautiful day, man. All right, let's go a little bit more to your right. I want to show you something here. You've read this next part in books. When a wing stalls, you know, on a high angle of attack, the airflow is doing this, right? It's kind of curling. So I want you to bring the nose up a little bit more. And Carlos, look out here between the wing strut. Bring the nose up some more, up some more. We're going to do a power on stall. Bring the nose up. If you look at the fabric between the struts, you're going to see the fabric start to move around towards the back first. And then that's the stall. You can actually see the stall happening on the wing. Bring the nose up some more. And you'll feel it in the stick too. Come on back some more. Look at the back of the strut. You'll see the fabric moving around. You start to see it move. Yep. There's your power on stall right there. How about that?
Wow.
I know. It's awesome. Let's make a 180 left or right, your choice. We'll go back to the west.
Gotcha.
You can see why they were great trainers and why people like to fly them today. They're strong, they're stressed to destruction, to 9 G's positive and 6 negative.
Really?
So you're never going to pull it apart in the air.
Wow.
We're going to do a power off stall next. Now the power off stalls are cool because right above the stall, about, I don't know, 5 or 7 miles an hour above the stall speed, you can start to smell the exhaust fumes coming into the cockpit. Pretty cool. All right, so we'll level off here. Just gently bring the power back to idle. Carburetor heat is hot. Good. Now that air, the sound you hear right now, we're going about 70. So this is what it kind of should sound like in the pattern.
Oh yeah, I smell it.
Now start bringing the nose on up. You'll see it'll be a lot more pungent. Good. Bring the nose up some more. We'll bring the power up there. You hear it? And then here's your power off stall here. It's stalling right there. So allow it to fly. There it is. You hear the whistle? That means you're going, you're flying again. You can bring the power on up to 1,700 RPM and fly away. So you can see there's nothing to be afraid of in installing this thing.
No.
And people are always like saying, well, I don't want to stall it because I don't want to spin it. This thing doesn't want to spin. You can tell it wants to fly, right? So to spin it, you got to pull the stick all the way back in a power off stall and stomp on a rudder. So it's really, really a great training airplane. Let's add some power. Let's go back up to about 800 feet. Carburetor heat's cold, by the way. So the deal was in World War II, you'd fly the Stearman for right at 65 hours in your primary training course. From the Stearman, you're going to go into an airplane called a BT-13, Bravo Tango 13. The Navy called them SNV as in Victor, Sierra November Victor. That's the one you would fly for about 100 hours, night flight, instrument training and formation work in the VT. From there, the Texan, you know what a Texan is, that's pretty famous. Navy called them SNJs, same airplane, just a different designation system. And then from there, the Corsair, the Wildcat, Hellcat, 51, whatever you're going to fly back then. All right, so look at the berth. This is plenty high. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to kind of play around. You can bring the power back to about 1750. Carlos, have some fun. If you want to try, actually, let's try this. This is kind of a fun thing to do. We're trying to learn how to fly the airplane by seat of the pants technique, just by flying it and not looking at instruments. Bring the power back a little bit more. There you go. We have a smoke system on board the airplane. It looks like this. There it is there. Let's do a 360 to your left, whatever angle of bank you want. When you start your turn, I'll give you some air show smoke. If you make a level turn in the sky without looking at your instruments, you're going to fly right through your smoke. There's no one behind you. Whenever you're ready, left or right, your choice. Angle of bank, your choice. All right? Here we go. Smoke on. Now, there's your marker right there. Very good. Awesome. Now you can see why I like to fly out here. Look down below. We can land anywhere down there.
Yeah.
Great job, man. As you come around, you're going to see your smoke here. Go ahead and fly right through it. There it is. You actually, that descended some, so your turn was better than the smoke. Let's try the same thing to your right. Smoke on now. Good. There it is. So just kind of playing around, what we call this boring holes in the sky, you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
That was great.
Yeah. Lazy 8s, did you like the Lazy 8?
Yeah.
All right, let's roll out of this. Let's go back up a little higher, and then we'll try another one of those. When I was 16, I took my first Stearman ride with a friend of my father's. So I was up in the front seat, and it was all, I remember, it was all yellow. So we went up to about 2,000 feet, 2,500 feet, and he looped it, right? And so he's like, so how did you like that? And I was like, I did not like that. Don't do that again. I didn't like it at all. Because when you loop this thing, you pull a lot of G's. You pull like 3.5 G's. So he says, okay, well, you don't like the G's. Let's try, I'll roll it. So he rolled it, did an aileron roll with it. And he says, how'd you like that? And I'm like, I hated that. That was worse than the other one. That's going to make me sick. Don't do that. So then he did a Lazy 8. And he said, what do you think about that? And I said, now that I like. Do some more of those. All right, so let's go ahead and level off here. What I want you to do is work. We're going to do one to the left. Work your way into doing a little steeper than you did before, all right? There's no one around you. Carlos, let's try a shallow turn to your left. Good, bring the nose up. There you go, that's what we're talking about. Now that we're going just about straight up. Here comes the nose to the horizon, much better, good. Start rolling it right. As you see that ground come on up, bring the power back a little bit. 10 degrees right, up you go. Very good. And then a little tiny bit of right rudder here. Very good. Awesome. Good. 1 G, 2 G's. Cool. Now Now, if you do those in this Cirrus, it's just not the same.
Oh, no way.
It's just not the same. Let's try one more to your left. 10 degrees, up you go. Good, and then we'll finish it up with one to the right.
I think I could have gone a bit steeper on that one.
Well, let's try another one. We're still at 700-800 feet. We're fine for height-wise. All right, 10 degrees, bring the nose up. Bring up some more, up some more. Now, look over your, not straight up, right? Now do the same thing to the right as you did to the left. So shallow turn. Just be a little bit more aggressive on the back pressure on the stick. Bring the nose up some more. There you go. Right rudder here. Good. That's what we're talking about right there. And then we'll roll it on out. Oh, yeah. Remember what I said on the ground, you're never going to forget today, huh?
Yeah.
But, you know, even though we're out here jacking around having a good time, you're still learning. You're learning how to fly the airplane, and you're doing the rudder work well.
Yeah.
And we're listening to the airplane. We know when she's going fast. We know when it's going slow. And that'll be critical when we learn how to land. All right, so I bring the power back to about 1,400 RPM. Let's just stand down to 400 feet. Meanwhile, let's make a shallow right-hand turn. Bring the power back a little bit more. Don't worry about the altimeter. Now, can you hear the whistle of the wind in the wires right there? All right, that sound right now is about 80, that's about 90 miles an hour. So bring the nose up a little tiny there. Hold it right there. I want you to get it down to about 80. Can you hear the whistle now?
Yep.
That whistle was what I want you to memorize, because if it sounds like that all the way down to the ground, you know exactly how fast you're going. All right, that's what's important. Cool. Let's make another right-hand turn. Teach you some bad habits here.
Oh boy.
All right, so we'll bring the power back in. All right, so right now we're close to 300 feet. As you know, we have to stay 500 feet away from any person or property, right?
Yep.
Nothing's out here. You don't get to do this too much in Miami area.
Oh, no.
Yeah, enjoy the view. Isn't it cool? Open cockpit plane, flying 300 feet. Very, very nice.
Oh, man, I'm going to cry. This is fantastic.
There's all different types of flying. You know, there's people get into these airplanes and they want to go someplace, fly IFR. You know, I was always under the impression that IFR rating gets you out of trouble. You don't really want to fly into trouble with the IFR rating. But I don't fly when the weather's bad. All right, so let's make another left-hand turn. All right, I'm going to have you kind of shoot a little mock approach. There's a field right over here. It's right there, right next to the road. You see it there?
Yeah.
All right, so let's just say, and I know we're low, we're left downwind right now for runway 31. So let's bring the power back to about 1,500 RPM. There you go. So we can hear the whistle, right? So the whistle right there tells us we got plenty of speed, because the whistle's loud. Let's go ahead and make this left-hand turn. So if we had to land, that would be actually a good place to land. Bring the power back a little bit more. Let's head on down. Good. Bring the power back some more. We'll roll the wings to level. There's your strip right there. You see it? To your left, right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So bring the power back. You think you could land it in there if you had to?
If I had to, yeah.
Before you hit the trees?
Not now.
You hear that whistle?
Yeah.
Good.
Too much.
Let's go around.
Going around.
1,800 RPM, 75 miles an hour for pitch, and she'll go up at 400 feet a minute. All right, so now you know where the runway is. Let's try another one of those. But this time we're going to get a little higher. We're going to shoot a normal approach. So go straight ahead until we're at about 300 feet, and then we'll make a left-hand turn, and we'll keep on climbing, and see if we can get 800 feet on the downwind. Now, Carlos, at any time, if you say, hey, listen, I'd like to try this and do this, by all means, go ahead and do it.
Oh, no, this is great.
Okay, cool. We're going to try 2 approaches into that field, practice approaches. You can make a left-hand turn now. So that when we go back to fantasy of flight, we don't have to do them there. All right, so right about here, this is your crosswind. We'll roll the wings to level. Just keep on climbing. Let's see if we can get 800 feet. Power's fine, 1800 RPM. Good, let's make another left-hand turn here. Let's go to the downwind. So you want to just kind of parallel that road. There is no wind, so we don't have to mess with any crab angle or anything. And just bring the power back just a little bit. Keep on climbing. 1800 RPM, 75 miles an hour. Cool. So now that we're higher, on this one we're going to be bringing the power back more, so you're going to be able to hear the whistle of the wind in the wires much better. All right, this is good here. Let's bring the power back to about 1500 RPM. There you go. All right, you can certainly hear the whistle now.
Yeah.
So if you listen to that whistle, we're going 85. So let's go 80. Bring the nose up a little bit more. All right. Here's 80. So this is what 80 sounds like. So if you can, just kind of memorize that. All right, sir. Let's go ahead and make our left base turn here. Okay, good. 30-degree angle of bank turn. Outstanding job. Now the cool thing about the Stearman is it's got so much drag, we don't need any flaps. Because this thing, if you chop the power, it comes down like right, you land right ahead of you. Good. Very nice. Airspeed's right where you want it, 80 miles an hour. And we're trying to do this without looking at the gauge. There's your runway. And there's Don in this white truck. Don't disregard him. All right, so bring the power back a little bit. Come on back on the power. Cool. Good. Let's go around.
Going around.
What'd you think about that?
It's natural.
Yeah. Here's what I want you to do. We're going to do one more, then we'll head back and shoot some real landings. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to keep it a little bit higher on final.
Okay.
Because, as you'll find, if you're low on final, you can't see the runway.
Yeah.
And at Fantasy of Flight, remember, we got 5,000 feet of runway ahead of us. So if we're a little bit high on final, you can bring the power back so you can hear the whistle better. You can lower the nose, and your runway is right ahead of you. If you drag it in with power, you can't see it, and normally your landings won't be very good. All right, let's make a left-hand turn here. Your instructor probably told you this, but some of the things I've heard over the years have really resonated with me. My father once told me, the quality of your landing in the Stearman is determined by your approach. Because if you shoot a crappy approach, that's in every airplane. If you shoot a crappy approach, yeah, you know what? You can maybe salvage half of them, but the other half are going to suck.
Yeah.
If you shoot a really good approach, the landing is already done. You know,
pretty much, yeah.
So we're going to concentrate on this approach here. We'll keep on climbing.
So just keep the strip at the edge of the wing?
Yeah, that's perfect. And let's go up a little higher. But yeah, we'll get to 800 feet here.
Yeah.
And that'll help you keep it a little bit higher on final. All right, so this is good here. We'll bring the power back to 1500. And we want 80 miles an hour out of it. we're not using the carb heat because there's no way we're getting carb ice today.
Yeah.
All right, let's make our base turn here. It's about 45 degrees or so. So bring the power back a little bit more. So again, we're listening. We're going to start coming down a little quicker, but we're listening to the whistle of the wind and the wires. Right now we're going about 90, which is fine. That's fine. So bring the power back. There's your runway off your left. So come on back. Make your left-hand turn now. Bring the power back all the way to idle. See the difference?
Oh,
so
yeah.
there's the runway. The power's at idle, so you can really hear the whistle. And you can see we're going a little fast, but that's okay. Awesome. That's how you do it. Let's go around.
Going around.
Get your airspeed 75, carb heat full. Good. Up we go. Awesome. Good job. So what I'm not a big fan of is the way they teach people how to fly nowadays. In the pattern, you're shooting like mile-and-a-half finals.
Yeah.
If that engine quits you, you're going to stick that thing in somebody's backyard, right? We shoot close-in patterns, so if something happens, I'm landing on the runway.
Yep.
All right, let's make a 180 left or right, your choice, so we'll climb back up to 800 feet. I hope this is kind of what you wanted to do today,
exactly what I want to do.
Okay.
I haven't flown in 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would never, you're flying it well. You're doing a great job. All right, fantasy of flight is over here. Off your left wing, you'll see a lake. I want you to head right back to that lake and keep it at 800 feet. That's going to be our pattern altitude. So we're going to see which runway we're going to use. It'll be the long one runway, but we'll look at the wind. There you go. And then once we get to 800 feet, we'll level off there, and then we'll bring the power back to 1750. Awesome, Carlos. Yeah, you're flying the airplane well.
Yeah.
But it's fun and it's challenging at the same time.
Yeah. This is the way you should start from the beginning.
You've been talking to my wife, haven't you? I took her flying. Now at this altitude, you can see the lake. You see it up here on your left?
Yeah.
Head towards that. And when we're in the middle of that lake, that'll set you up for a midfield crosswind entry into the pattern.
Got it.
But I took her flying in this airplane, and she, when I first met her, so she ends up with, she was spoiled 50 hours of Stearman time. I get off the ground, and she'd fly it, and she liked doing stalls, and I taught her how to do the takeoff, not so much the landing, but the takeoff. But you get to a certain point in your pilot training, and you're like, look, if you're gonna get your license, you can't do it in this.
Yeah.
It's not practical. You got to go do it in a Cessna. So I sent her down to Bartow, which is down here about 20 miles. Second lesson, she comes back here. She's white as a ghost. And I'm like, what happened to you? And she said, we did stalls today.
Oh, boy.
She's like, I almost cried. It doesn't stall like the Stearman. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. But it's a means to an end. You know, you got to do it to get into this.
Yeah.
So she now has she built it a rocket champ, so a little champ. So it's a nice airplane for tail wheel time. She got her tail wheel time, and I sold her this last Christmas. So
Fantastic.
yeah, great airplane. All right, so what I'm looking at right here, I'm looking. There's some smoke right there off your left.
Yeah.
On the end of the runway. I think it looks like it's out of the south. So if it is, pretty sure it is. We're going to land on the same runway we took off from.
Gotcha.
And you can bring the power back just a little bit more. There you go. Just maintain 800 or 900 feet here. All right, so let me walk you through the landing procedure. Same thing you just did. We're going to shoot the nice approach, keep it a little bit high on the final. And then when you flare the airplane, you're not looking at an airspeed indicator, we're listening to it. And we know, we only did one power off stall, but you know this from flying before. you know that the airplane will stall with no power when the yoke or stick is all the way back. So we're looking straight ahead, we focus on infinity, we pick up those little white runway markers, we get the airplane low to the ground, and then we're going to keep it off. We're going to try to bleed off as much airspeed in the air before it hits the ground. There's some smoke right here, so the wind is out of the south, so we're going to land runway 22.
Okay.
Same runway we took off from. So, your landmarks, there's a little bluish-green water tower ahead off to your right, the Love's truck stop. Right there. That's gonna,
okay.
Yeah, let's head over towards that. That's going to set you up for a midfield crosswind entry. Just maintain your altitude. So what we're going to do, Carlos, we're going to do a stop and go. Not a touch and go. We're going to keep this thing all the way, let it stop. Okay. Here's what you never want to do. Don't ever get on the brakes. If you get on the brakes, we're going to flip upside down. So you want to keep the airplane, you have your heels on the floorboards. Cool. So this is our left downwind. There's an RC model field right ahead of you. We're going to turn inside of that. Right. The power, just leave the power here for now. The wind's right on your nose. I can see by looking at the wind on the water right there. Just blowing that way. All right, cool. So bring the power back at this point to 1,500 RPM. Good, we can hear the whistle of the wind in the wires. Let's go ahead and make this left-hand turn. There's 75, 80, good. Now, if the engine quit us right now, we're not making that runway. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
We would land right ahead of us in that field. Cool. So we'll roll the wings to level. There's your left base. We're a little high, and that's what we're looking for. So we'll bring the power back a little bit more. Just verify for me that your heels are on the floorboards.
Verified.
Okay. Good. Cool. Can you hear the whistle?
Yep.
We got plenty of speed. We're going about 95. So bring the power, yeah. Good. Keep it right here. Power back to idle.
Power's coming idle.
So bring the nose up a little bit, slow it down a little bit here. If we had to add some power, we can add a little power right here. Let it come on down. Look straight ahead, pick up the runway markers. All right, so let that thing come on down. Let it come on down. Let it come down. Keep it off. Keep it off. Then bring the nose up, 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 up. All right. Now, it's not over. That's the easy part, getting on the ground. Stuck the stick back. It shouldn't really go too awful all over the place. A little right rudder, and you want to stab at it like a boxer does.
Gotcha.
Like it, well, and there it goes. Exactly. So you hear all the craziness about the tailwheel plane. This is what it does.
Yeah.
You got to dance on those pedals.
All right.
What do you think? Is that pretty cool?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, actually.
I thought that was okay. Now, here's the thing. When the airplane comes down, you can see me in the mirror up there?
Mm-hmm.
So when the airplane comes down, you can see the runway, and then you arrest your rate of descent, and the airplane's in ground effect. Just kind of just gently bring the stick back. No, you don't want it to balloon, but keep bringing the stick back. And what we're doing is we're getting rid of all our extra airspeed in the air before it touches the ground.
Gotcha.
Everything's looking good. It's in the green. Let's do a left-hand pattern. You ready?
All right.
There's nothing ahead of you. Go ahead and add a little power, because right now you're going a little bit to the left. So
gotcha.
get it all lined up here. Good. Look straight ahead. Focus on infinity. Yep. Bring the power all the way forward. There you go. Now hold it right there. Just relax on the pedals, not so much press. There you go. Tail's off the ground. She's ready to fly. So bring the nose up. Good. Lower the nose. Get your airspeed. Don't worry about I-4 down here. All right, there you go. Hold it right there. Start bringing the power back. 1,800 RPM. 75 to 80 miles an hour on the climb out. Great job. There are some power lines ahead of us. We are above them now. What'd you think about that one? That wasn't a big deal, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll make a left-hand turn here, Carlos. There's a school ahead of us. Shallow angle of bank turn. We want 800 feet. We'll roll the wings back to level here on the crosswind. Very nice. There's 500 feet. There you go. So another good piece of advice is when I was checking out on this many years ago, the instructor guy said when you're on the rollout, you want to treat the rudder pedals like a boxing match. So if it starts going a little bit to the right, you jab the left rudder pedal back to neutral. Oh, it needs a little bit more, jab it again. You don't start honking on the rudder pedals, and the airplane's going to oscillate down the runway, and you'll end up ground looping it. Okay, so here we are, 800 feet. We'll bring the power back to 1700. Let's go around the end of our runway here. There we go. Very cool. All right, so power back to 1500. Get a hold of your airspeed. There you go. All right, left-hand turn here before we get too close to the RC field. So this is a close-in approach. There's a lot of stuff going on, but again, if the engine quits, we're making the runway from here. Good. Yeah. Bring the power back some more. We got the airport made, so come on back some more. There you go. Good. Can you hear the whistle?
Yep.
And again, you got 5,000 feet of grass, so you are a lucky guy here. Yeah, it's good right here. Let's get it all lined up. We can hear the whistle of the wind in the wires. That's critical. Good. So, airport's made. You can bring the power to idle. Now we're going about 90, right? So that's fine. It'll slow down. Just relax. Don't let it come on down. Just let it relax on the controls. You got it in the middle. Let it come down. Let it come down. So bring the nose up, keep it off. There you go, hold it right there. We're a little bit high, where's the ground? Ooh.
Oh yeah.
So keep it going straight. So boxing, remember boxing meant jab, no, jab, jab on it.
Sorry, I thought you
That's
meant
okay.
yeah.
So you had it all set up in a 3-point attitude. But we let it get slow about 3 feet above the ground. That's why I added a little power.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's not a big deal because you have to figure out for yourself where the airplane's sitting. So and where it touches the ground. So this is going to be your side picture. Ready to do it again?
Yeah, sir.
All right. Everything looks like it's in the green. This time looks like you're just about squared up with the center line.
All right.
Whenever you're ready, let's go try it again.
Power's coming in.
All right, the airspeed's alive. Here comes the tail starting to come off the ground. We got that P factor good. She's ready to go. Bring the nose up, get it off the ground, and then lower the nose. Get your airspeed. And then we got our airspeed powered 1,800 RPM. And fly straight out. So in World War II, just so you are aware, in World War II, the flight lessons were only 45 minutes long. let's go ahead and make this left-hand turn. There's houses ahead of us. And so now and you can kind of see why. You know, when you're flying an airplane like this, there's so much stuff going on, right? Yeah. That when you start flying like an hour, your rate of retention is really low. All right, we'll roll the wings to level. So we're going to do something a little different this time. I'm looking at the wind. The wind's out of this direction. We're going to use our short runway. It's all, yeah, we're going to, so let's go over towards that white water tower. Nah, you know what? Yeah, we're going to use that short runway. Why not? All right, cool. We'll roll the wings to level, and I want you to level off at 800 feet. There you go, and then we'll bring the power back to 1750. Cool. So here's what we're going to do here, Carlos. There's your runway right here. It's 2,500 feet long, plenty long for us. Now, energy management's going to be more critical. It's a little bit narrower, but it's more into the wind. Okay? I think it is, at least. We're going to try it. Because you don't want to come sailing down on final at 100 because we're going to go into the trees. Of course, I'm not going to let that happen, but all right. So here's your left downwind. You're at 800 feet, looking good. All right. We'll roll the wings to level and bring the power back at this point to about 16. There you go. So I want you to maintain your airspeed a little bit better on this. Let's slow it down to about 85. Now you can bring the power back. There you go. Cool. All right. That's fine. You don't want to let it go any faster than this. Now the cool thing about this runway is on the right side of it, there's a fence. So that it's right on. So, but you can see it out of your corner of your right eye. So that's we're going to be parallel with that. Go ahead and make a left-hand turn here.
Bring the power back?
No, leave it here. Leave it in.
Gotcha.
So this is cool. So again, if the engine quits us now, we're not making the runway from here.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to just leave the power where it's at. And then we're going to start milking it back here in a sec. All right, so there's your runway. All right, so start bringing the power back a little bit. There you go. Just keep it right here. Bring the power back a little bit more. There's about 95. You can hear the whistle. Good, you can see the runway. So bring the power back a little bit more. All right, so pick up the runway marker. All right, there it is, good. All right, so bring the nose up. No, don't let it balloon. It's okay, it's okay. It's not over. The hard part is keeping it going straight.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. We got time for one more. Want to do one more?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go out on the main runway so you can make a 180 left or right.
Gotcha.
Or actually, you know what? I'm looking at the windsock right there. Let's go ahead and make a 180 and go to the end.
All right.
Since we have the runway, you might as well, into the wind, you might as well use it. All the way to the right, all the way. Don't worry about going, yeah, it'll pop around like that.
Wow, yeah.
Isn't that cool? So imagine you're going, let's just say you're going 20 miles an hour and the airplane's going off the runway and the tail wheel pops out like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dreaded ground loop.
Oh, gotcha.
So the landings on the Stearman are, it's a big deal. But again, like I mentioned an hour ago, in World War II, the training was you would go out to a field and they had a windsock in the middle of the field, and so you would land in the grass field. And you get the hang of it, solo the airplane on landing there, and get, I don't know, 20, 30 landings. And then once you got all those, you would go over to the pavement. And most airports, I know there's one in Lakeland that was used as a training facility. They had 3 runways for a reason. So you're minimizing your crosswind exposure.
Yeah, a lot of air bases were built like that,
Yeah.
now that I think of it.
For a reason, because the majority of the incidents were, obviously landing. All right, so you're going to go through 3 markers down here, 1 on either side, and then that's the end of our runway. I want you to go ahead and go through those, and then we'll do the 180, so we'll use all of our runway.
Gotcha.
All right, now do the same thing. Right rudder, tap that right brake. There you go. Get it all lined up. Now here's the deal. See the end of our runway?
Yeah.
There's trees down there. So now you got a 50-foot obstacle. Same technique, all right, but and on the other side of those trees is a lake, just so you know. So that's why the technique is important. So go ahead and add a little power, get your tail wheel straight. I think it's still going to the right. All right, there you go. So, like I mentioned to you before, there's your fence off your right. So that's going to be parallel to our runway. So you got to really look at that and focus in on that. You ready?
All right. Yep.
Let's
Ready.
do it. So heels on the floorboards, sticks in neutral. Let's go make this on our best. There you go. Good. All right. Same deal. We're speeding up. Here comes the nose. Here comes the tail. She's ready to go. We'll bring the nose up. Little right. There you go. Get it off the ground. Good. And then we'll start bringing the power back. Now, Carlos, I'm going to give you the option. You land on either runway. You can land on the long runway or the short runway. Your choice.
And we can do the short. The winds are still out of there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's make this one our best one. There you go. All right, so we're rolling back to level here. We're at 600 feet, looking good. Everything's in the green. The landing gear is down and locked and bolted, welded. All right, we'll bring the power back to 1700. We're at beam the numbers here, so we'll bring the power back to 1500. Man, you got an hour plus with the taxi time, 1.2 hours of Stearman time today.
Oh man, that'll be nice to put in.
That's hard to get. All right, let's go ahead and make a left-hand turn here. There you go. Just make sure your heels are on the floorboard. Now, I like this approach better because we're higher, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have to dive the airplane. So if we lost the engine now, I think we're making the runway. So just gently bring the power back a little bit more. It's all about your approach. Good. Now, good. Just hold the airspeed right where it's at. You're going 80. That's perfect. Bring the power back some more. Bring it. Yeah, now we got the runway made. Now just let it come on down. It'll fall out. Bring the power to idle all the way back. There you go. Look at this thing. Look how fast it comes down.
Yeah.
It's like 30 degrees of flaps right here in a Cessna. All right, so give yourself a little bit of power, a little tiny bit right there. Now, that's plenty. Now get it all lined up. That's good. Relax on your feet. Look straight. You pick up the runway markers now. Keep it off the ground. Now, don't let it balloon. There you go. Look at this. Oh, That was really good. That was good. That was fine. You had it all set up, and then it just ballooned on you at the very
Yeah.
end. I mean, it was like, I was like, oh, you're going to make a three-pointer, and you did, but and that was good. That was good. Great job, man. Let's make a 180, and we'll take it back to the ramp. Super
right.
job. So, Carl, let me ask you this. Do you feel like you learned anything today in this thing?
Let me tell you something. This was great. If not for anything else, it gave me the push to finish up.
Finish up.
Yeah, I've only got maybe an hour of solo cross-country time left before I qualify for the exam. Yeah, I stopped for a lot of reasons, but I got to finish this up and get my private.
For sure. And then go out and find yourself somebody who can give you dual in a Citabria.
Yeah.
Or because we're big guys, we're not really fit in,
No, we don't.
little Piper Cubs. Just get off the brakes, no brakes. So
no brakes.
Yep, left brake. Yeah, we want to try to adjust our speed just by use of the throttle. And so the game that we play is, let's see if we cannot use the brakes other than the run-up.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's the big game, because when you get on the brakes, bad things can happen.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll make a right-hand turn. Obviously, it's cement. It's going to speed up, so we're just going to gently bring the power back. There you go. Good. Now, Kermit does not like me making a right-hand turn because he says I'm blowing stuff into his hanger. So we're going to make a left-hand turn. That young man there in the yellow shirt is going to get a little bit of prop wash. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't mind.
Perfect. Perfect placement, yeah. And then just go add a little power, and then tap on that left brake pedal. And then there's your ground loop again. Good. That's how you do it. All right, the shutdown procedure here is just bring the mixture control back to lean.
Mixture's coming lean.
And then add a little bit of throttle. Take that one last deep whiff of 100 octane.
Ah.
Awesome. Great job today.
All right.